how to make a deck that sells creative work. In this episode, we'll talk about the trap of long decks.
You're just so suspicious. You're like, where is the meat in there? Where's the idea?
We'll see that sometimes the secret is treating the deck like a Disney movie.
And when in doubt, just go back to Walt Disney movies and stuff like that. You need ups and downs. You need euphoria and dysphoria.
And the one thing that can ruin your deck.
When he saw what we were doing, he just said, like, it's everything wrong. No, guys, it's everything wrong.
For this episode of Take Your Pills, we dug into the Method Studio archive and selected 5 pills that offer sharp insights into how top creatives in design and advertising make decks that actually sell. Pill number 1. A good presentation is a good idea.
There's a funny thing, like within the world we're in. At one point, when we first started going out to Nike, you'd have a deck, it'd have 3 pages, and it would be the setup, the idea, maybe the visual world of what it would look like, but really brief.
Yeah.
And over time, these decks,
100 pages.
they grew and they grew and they grew and they got so fluffy. And now you're like, now when I see like a 250-page deck and it's just one idea that needs to be bought, you're just so suspicious. You're like, where is the meat in there? Where's the idea, you know?
Yeah. The presentation, a good idea. That's it. That's all you need.
Pill number 2. You need ideas, not a big show.
The ideas have to be there. The work has to be there, especially, we were an agency born in the middle of the pandemic in lockdown all over Zoom. And it sort of reset everything down to the idea. And it was less about a big show in the room. And it was purely, here's the deck, here are the ideas, which is great for all of us. That's what we focus on, that's what we're good at. So I still think that the work has to be there. And of course, you want things to be polished and you want write-ups to be simple and clean and gettable and not overly wordy. We're always sort of cut this down, cut this down, cut this down. And does that answer the question? Yeah.
Pill number 3. A deck is a book, a story you are telling.
All a deck is a book, is a story you're telling. And the craft of a deck and the story you are telling is as important as the content itself. And it's a lesson that it's something that is hard to learn. You got to do a lot and get it wrong a lot and be with people that know what they are doing a lot, so you get your own way of doing things. But I tell that to everyone before going to pitch or something like that, because everyone is always... It's normal. We're anxious, we're nervous, we want to make sure we're delivering all the points and everything we're saying like hits. And I tell everyone, all we're doing is telling a story. So tomorrow we're going to tell the story of how this brand will go from point A to point B, or how this brand is gonna conquer a new segment and da. In any story, you need to have the premise, the middle part, and the conclusion. So make sure you're hitting all those points. And when in doubt, just go back to Walt Disney movies and stuff like that. You need ups and downs. You need euphoria and dysphoria. You can't yell all the time because then you're just yelling and people stop listening. You need to have, a little bit of a ride. Rather than, this is our problem, this is a solution, so we could do this, and this, and that, and that. And then it's a bunch of like one-off stuff that doesn't, it's just boring. And it sounds like a lot of work and sounds like expensive, So we put a lot of effort on the craft of a deck.
Before we jump into pill number 4, just a quick note. The entire Method archive is available on our website. You'll find over 500 clips from top voices in branding, design, and advertising, all broken down into bite-sized chapters, easy to explore by theme or by creative. By becoming a supporter, you unlock the whole library and help us keep bringing free pills to YouTube. Let's get back to the episode. Pill number 4. Let the deck design sell your visual direction.
I had a chance to work with Richard Sturley, the designer. It was a crazy thing because I was working in São Paulo, Wieden in São Paulo. I was a creative or a creative director, I don't remember. But we were doing a pitch for a brand. It was a local thing. And then Susan Hoffman, the way she normally does, she was calling office and saying oh, I have Richard Turley. Do you guys want to use him somehow? And we say, yeah, just bring him here. We're gonna have some beer. It's gonna be fun. And then he came, and I mean, like, bro, it was me and Diego Limberti. He was my partner, and Diego is a very, like, he's an art director, but very design driven. And he was so excited, and I was so excited. And he came to be part of this pitch. And when he saw what we were doing, he just said, like, it's everything wrong. No, guys, it's everything wrong. Like, it wasn't one of those pitches that they asked for everything. So, like, I want a campaign for this specific thing, but what about rebranding? Because we don't know if our brand is cool enough. Like, maybe, so it was kind of like all over the place. And we were doing everything because, like creatives, trying to accomplish it all. And that was this new visual identity that we were presenting. And that was a thing that obviously Richard focused on. And then he said, look, you're going to show something dramatically different from everything they have seen and from who they are. That's fine. It's okay to do that. But in order to do that, you need to bring those elements that you're going to present since the beginning of the deck, because they're going to get used with the deck. So when they see that, it's not going to be a surprise. And they're like, oh, fuck. And then we started, like, first slide, the font was already there, like, somehow. And colors and blah, and in our mind, it was the opposite. It was like, and that's the big reveal. Oh, how beautiful it is. Because we're so, like, full of ourselves, like, that's gonna be, they're gonna see that, and, like, they're gonna just fall in love because we're really good. But that's not how it works. They would see that they would freak out. So that changed the way I did everything from then on. Like, I was like, oh, okay, I need to make people feel as comfortable as I am when we get to the slide 67, We lost the pitch. but I don't think it was because of Richard. Like, he really helped. It was just because, I don't know, like, there was something that we didn't do so well. But that really changed the way I see things,
Pill number 5. Bring yourself to the deck.
I love making decks. I fucking love it. My first job in this building was as a graphic designer, and a lot of it was just making decks for other people. So I got to see how ideas were structured. And it would be like, hello, we're Wieden+Kennedy. Nice to see you again. Here's the problem. We're excited to show you ideas. Idea 1, script. It was like that. And now we'll make decks that have like 20 pages of lead up to the script, just to take them through our thinking of like, oh, we had this idea and that was a bad idea. Next slide. And then I said this, next slide. And by the way, you might not know this about me, but I was a single dad for a long time. And I had, like, we'll get very vulnerable and just be like, this is how we will take their hand and lead them towards the idea. It's such a cool way of storytelling. It's a cool way of having a conversation with somebody. If you can make it feel conversational and lead them somewhere. The same part of me that loves filmmaking is the same part that loves deck making. Because you can edit a deck. You can do surprise twists. You can do jokes. You can, like, it's so fun. And it's cheap and easy. You do it at home and then share it with the crowd. Including things like, you guys like this, right? We like this. Everybody likes this. Look how many views this video got on YouTube. This is going to be like that, but it's inspired by that or that feeling. So now there's so much of like hand-holding and leading them towards it. And then Edward brings the humanity to it, because I can be very analytical about this slide, that slide, this slide. And you will shut down the presentation if they're not responding or if there's no engagement.
That's true. Well, Matthew, I will disagree with the humanity. Matthew brings so much humanity into the decks. The way Matthew's lead up to the work is always so human. And it's usually a lot about him and us. I get uncomfortable. I'm like, I don't tell them about that. They don't need to know that. But it's always very, Matthew is nice guying them into compliance. We spend a lot of time on how to present work. And Matthew's right. It's like you can figure out the best way to present the work really quickly. You put all your effort into coming up with the ideas, but we definitely spend, a good amount of time figuring out how to present it, which is a weird trait considering that we all work in advertising and so many of us are so bad at selling our own work.
That's a wrap for this episode of Take Your Pills. If you'd like more pills to help sharpen your skills at selling ideas, head to the description. We've linked related episodes for you. See you in the next one.